So now that we're going from lunch, let's talk about nutrition. We have Damore Morris joining us, who is a personal trainer here in Long Island. He's been training for over 6 years. I've known him since I was a kid. And if you see his muscles, you can tell he goes to the gym. One thing that I love about Damore is a lot of his clients keep going back to him. And it's not because he's good looking guy and tells jokes. It's because he actually, you see the changes. It's really beautiful to see women and men before and after. And when speaking to him, it's not just about going to the gym. That's one part. But it's about the nutrition, it's about your mindset. So everyone keep up with Damore Morris and see what's up.
How you guys doing? My name is Damore Morris. I've been training for quite a while. It's a big passion of mine. I love working out. My dad is a retired bodybuilder, so like it runs in the family. And plus I love superheroes, so that's why I look like well. So a lot of people, what they tend to do is they feel like working out is just like the end goal be all. Like as soon as I work out, it's like, all right, I'm working out, I'm doing what I gotta do. I don't need to, worry about nutrition. But nutrition plays such a big factor into your working out because without proper nutrition, you're not gonna be able to optimize your working out at all. You can have a crappy diet, go to the gym and work out hard like a dog, but it's not gonna keep you out. I mean, when you're younger, it works. I mean, you have to be down the night before. I was doing a six-pack, but that's when I was 22. Now that I'm 34, I can't do that shit anymore. So, everything's slowed down. So nutrition is one of those big things. But I want to ask you guys, do you guys eat breakfast in the morning? By show of hands, who eats breakfast in the morning? Okay. So now, if you guys understand, that's like one of the most important meals of the day is breakfast. Because of the simple fact that when you're sleeping, your body goes through a thing called when you're in an anabolic state. So what happens is you're starving. Your body is like, all right, I need food, I need fuel, I need to do something. So that's why it's called breakfast is breaking fast. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're eating breakfast. That's the biggest thing that you want to do. So this is one of the things that I want you guys to understand is when it comes to doing this stuff, so when you want to build muscle, obviously you want to have like a hearty meal or not, like that's what you want to do. When you're eating eggs in specific, a lot of people have a very different outtake when it comes to eggs. People want to be very aware of their cholesterol because if you eat too much of the eggs, your cholesterol can spike up really high. So that's something you want to be very careful of. Also sodium and all that other stuff. Now, when you're eating your eggs, it's okay to have the yolk inside of it. There's nothing wrong with that. The egg yolk has all the nutrients and vitamins that you need inside to function. Now, what you want to do, you want to lose weight, now that's when you want to do egg whites. Egg whites is something that's a little bit different where it's the outer layer of the egg and whatnot. So that kind of stuff, you kind of want to keep that in mind so that you know that when you're eating breakfast, you're able to be like, okay, if I'm trying to put on muscle, I can have yolk, but if I don't, I want to have limited amount of yolk and I want to have just the egg whites and whatnot. Now, a lot of people, when we do stuff, in the morning time, that's the best time to have the carbs, by the way. People have this big myth about carbs where they feel like, all right, are they my friends or should I cut them out completely? To be very honest, carbs are your friends because you need that to function throughout the day. You need energy. If you don't have any energy, you can't function or anything like that. Also, we can talk about healthy fats as well too. Healthy fats such as like avocado or peanuts, stuff like that, where your body's going to be able to hold on to that and actually use that as energy to actually burn off. So all of the stuff in moderation, it all works out for itself. So, and another thing too is water. I think a lot of people don't drink enough water. Everybody's always like, oh, I want something sweet. I want something that's going to, quench my, my desire to drink. But honestly, you really need to make sure that you're drinking a lot of water. That's the only way it's going to be able to push all the nutrients throughout all the food that you're getting, the vitamins that you're taking, any of the medication. Water is an aiding agent which helps with absorbing everything. So that's one thing about breakfast. Now, when we go to lunch, how many of us eat lunch? Because I know you all work, so you don't have to lie. Okay, so you eat lunch. All right, that's good. But what you want to do is like during the day, you may feel like, okay, I want to eat because I'm working. The best way, sometimes I do this to myself. I'll be like, okay, I want to get my day done, and then I can eat. It's like a reward, and I'm like, all right, I'll eat after I'm finished. But by the time it's time for me to eat, it's 7 o'clock at night, and I'm like, crap, I missed lunch. And that's the most important part as well, too. So now when you're eating lunch and stuff, what you want to do, especially when you're building muscle, you want to put on lean, you want to put on lean protein. So you want to have like a salmon, you want to have steak. Steak is actually very, very good for you. But as we get older, it takes a while for our bodies to digest red meat. It takes about a week for our bodies to digest red meat. And also, what you'll find in red meat is you actually find some creatine that's inside of it as well. Now, just to talk about creatine, just really briefly, is that creatine is not a bad thing for you. Creatine is something that you can take. Just make sure you're drinking a lot of water. Now, you can't be susceptible to getting kidney stones if you're not drinking enough water. Now, something like that, especially if you get older, that kind of stuff kind of really it'll mess you up a lot, you know. When you're taking a lot of stuff, your kidneys can't take a lot of that stuff. So when you're not putting a lot of water inside the system, your kidneys are functioning and they're trying to like work overtime, and your blood is going through it, and it just messes up your kidneys like crazy. So what you want to do is that water is so key. But as you get older, like I said, red meat, you want to make sure that you're doing it at least once a week. That's it. Now, when we go to like vegetables and potatoes and stuff like that, like when we talk about potatoes, that's a protein as well too. That's a protein, it's a carb, all of that stuff that we have for that. With potatoes, what you want to do, it's not a bad thing to have that at all. It's also, it works as both. But what I want you guys to do is make sure you take it in moderation. The earlier in the day that you're taking your carbs and you're taking all this stuff, it's the best because your body's awake. Your body's able to utilize all this stuff. You're able to do everything that you need to do. You're able to function. Now, we want to build muscles. Carbohydrates is such a big key because we need to hold on to that muscle. It's a bonding agent. When you have water inside your system and carbs, it's a bonding agent for you to build up that muscle. So if you don't have that, it's going to have nothing to do that. I know a lot of people, what we tend to do is we tend to feel like, okay, let me go through these fast, quick diets where it's like, all right, I want to skip a few meals, I want to fast, I want to do this. But honestly, you're putting a shock to your pancreas and all your organs where it's like, all right, when are we going to start eating? So when we're going to eat again, it's like, okay, we got to sort out some fat because we don't know when we're eating again. So when you want to lose weight, you want to make sure that you're eating a lot of fiber. That's what you want to do. Carb intake can get a little lower, but fiber is something that fills you up. So like, you have apples and stuff like that, that's filled with fiber. So you want something like that that's going to hold you over so that you're not going to feel like, okay, I got to eat, I can't wait to eat, I can't wait to do this, and I can't wait to do that. Now, going on to the next slide, I want to show you guys dinner. Now, this one is a bit difficult because a lot of people tend to eat pretty late. You know, a lot of us, I know we've all heard the whole thing of like, don't eat after 8 o'clock. That's what we want to do. You don't want to eat after 8 o'clock. Now, if you don't eat after 8 o'clock, nothing's not going to happen to you. But you want to make sure 2 hours before you go to sleep, your body's already fully digesting all that food, and you're not taking as much carbs at night. Because what ends up the carbs, when it's not being utilized, it stores up as fat. So then it's all inside the system, and then you wake up in the morning, you feel bloated, you're like, oh my God, I shouldn't have had that. I shouldn't have did this, I shouldn't have did that. And what you want you guys to do is make sure that you're eating from the hours of when you wake up, I want to say like 7 o'clock, 7 in the morning, all the way up until like 8 o'clock at night. That's it. And your bedtime should be like 10 p.m. at least. You want to get a full 8 hours of sleep. Now, everybody's schedule is a little bit different. So I understand that, but you have to make sure that you set that time up for you so you're not set up for failure. That's the whole big thing. Nutrition is such a big factor when you're doing this kind of stuff as well too. So if you guys want to make sure that you also, I want to say this, some of us, what we tend to do is we work out at night. Some of us don't like to work out on our lunch break. We're too lazy to wake up early in the morning. But like 5 o'clock at the gym, there's a lot of them, I'm not doing that. But I want you guys to actually utilize your working out time. Save some time to work it out. A lot of people tend to feel like, okay, you know what? I'm getting my nutrition right, but I'm not working out. You know what I'm saying? You need to set some time, at least 3 to 5 days, just for yourself to work out. That's what you want to do. There's no exact window on when you want to work out. There's no window for that. As long as you're working out and you're getting your workout in for the day, you should be totally fine. Now, a lot of people think that there's a secret formula to actually like saying like, okay, I gotta work out all the time. What's the most optimal time to work out? That's like the biggest word is optimal. And I feel like that word is so annoying when it will go away. But it's one of those things where it's like just get up and work out. That's it. I mean, it's not that hard, Even if you take a walk around the block, say you want to do a few push-ups at the park, It's getting nicer outside. Do something that's gonna make you go be active. A lot of us don't like to go to the gym, especially ladies. I know you ladies don't like going to the gym. You ladies are like, no, I don't want to be looked at. I'm tired of people looking at me. I don't know what they're thinking about, I'm slap somebody, so I understand that. I totally get that. But most of the time when you go to the gym, no one's really paying attention to you in the way of like, okay, what the hell is she doing here? Why is she wearing that? Nobody's worried about that. Everybody mostly there is like, listen, you in here working out, that's no problem, you know what I'm saying? But you want to make sure that you're feeling encouraged to go to the gym. For the men who actually go to the gym, you want to feel comfortable in yourself. Like we just had a big talk about, eating or whatnot. Now, for me personally, when I was younger, my drive was always through the roof, and I wasn't working out at all. I started working out around 17, 18 years old. And I figured like, okay, you know what, maybe if I work out, my sex drive will calm down a little bit. It's a little too hyperactive right now. The exact opposite happened. So what I'm trying to say is that when you're working out and you're functioning, your test drive goes right through the roof, and that means that your sex drive goes right through the roof as well too. So working out, staying active, doing all of this stuff, it really comes in place hand in hand, Now, when we talk about snacks, and I know a lot of us like snacks. I know you like ice cream, that's my favorite. I know you like to, indulge in like chocolates, that kind of stuff. But healthy snacks to do, to kind of like, to kill those urges and stuff like that. You can have nuts, you can have boiled eggs, you can have fruits, you can have dark chocolate, stuff like that is what's going to help you with those cravings going on. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to, put off weight, if you're trying to gain weight or trying to put on muscle, these are stuff that you want to do, Like this stuff, I know it's very hard, but I'm going to leave you guys with this, and I'm not ending this off right now, but I'm just going to say this. What we tend to do now is we live to eat instead of eating to live. Now, some of you guys will be like, well, what the hell does that mean? What we tend to do is food tastes so good now, where we get we're just like McDonald's is right there. It's so convenient. When you go to McDonald's real quick, you just get something it's only one time. Now, you cannot do that to yourself. You gotta say, hey, listen, you know what? Let me take a step back. Let me go to the store, go to the supermarket, let me get a whole thing of Greek yogurt, let me get some fruits, and let me put it together, and let me save it for the rest of the week, or maybe for the rest of the day. Do stuff like that. Build healthy habits. A lot of us, what we tend to do is we feel like we eat because we want it to taste good for the moment. But then later on, it's like, okay, this is too bad for me. Sugar, having too much sugar inside yourself and whatnot, that's also very bad for you as well. That kills your testosterone, your sex drive. You have too much sugar inside of it, it's going to store up as fat. And that's something that we don't want. Now, of course, in fruits and all that other kind of stuff, we're going to find natural sugars inside of that, which is totally fine, but also in moderation. Now, there's such a thing as I have a client before who would tell me I'm a vegetarian, and he was, but he was overweight. And I would ask him, why do you overweight though? And he'd say, well, I eat, but I just eat a lot of the good stuff. I'm eating a lot of snacking on, fruits and vegetables. I'm doing all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, you see, but it's funny how people think that eating healthy, they feel like, okay, I'm just eating a lot of what's healthy, I should be losing weight. No, everything in moderation is the biggest key. Staying in the calorie deficit is one of the biggest things that you need to do. Portion control, all that stuff you need to make sure that you're doing as well. So all of the stuff that I want to tell you guys about is I need you guys to make sure that you guys have a goal of what you want to weigh, what you want to look like. I want you guys to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, listen, am I happy with how I look? You don't have to have a six-pack. No one told you to, be 3% body fat. That's impossible. There's no way you can do that. Especially as a man, you're not going to be able to do that. But taking the right steps into nutrition is making sure that you're eating the right amount of stuff. The human body is supposed to take in about 0.5 grams of protein per pound a day. So depending on your goals, like for me, I'll take in 150 grams of protein every day. That's my intake of protein. Now, with protein shakes, nothing's wrong with that. But you don't need it. That's good for like after a workout. You finish your workout, you're like, okay, you know what? I gotta replenish my system. I gotta put this stuff inside my back of my system so that I can recover. That's good for you, that's fine. But nothing beats solid food. Solid food is the most keyest thing that you need to do. Now, I know a lot of us, We may not have that self-control, we may not know what to do or what to eat and stuff like that. But this kind of stuff, like these little key things to doing, is actually key for you to do. Now, what I want to talk to you guys about is supplements as well too. When it comes to supplements, such as casein versus whey protein, we have stuff like that. Casein is a slow releasing protein. You can if you're trying to put on mass, and if you want to, put on size and whatnot, casein is a slow releasing muscle, a slow releasing protein rather. You take that right before you go to sleep, get able to put on that muscle and whatnot, get able to recover because your body, when it's sleeping, it's better to absorb certain things. So that's like for me, I like to take my vitamins at night. I like to take it right before I go to sleep. I like to do stuff like that. Now, when you're taking whey protein, that's a fast-releasing protein. With that fast-releasing protein, what you're doing with that is you take that right after you finish your workout. After you finish with your workout, you're sweating out all that stuff, so now it's good for your body to replenish everything. So what you want to do is you want to take your whey protein right after your workout. Now, you necessarily don't have to have a protein shake to function, but you want to have solid food if you're not going to do that. So it's okay to take a protein shake like right after the gym. If you know like in an hour you're not going to be able to eat anything like that. It's okay to take a protein shake. It's not a problem at all. But these protein stuff and everything like that, it's this supplements. It's just there to aid you and stuff. When you're taking like when I say a multivitamin, all that stuff is just aiding you into absorbing your food better. So when you're taking all these supplements, you want to make sure you're taking it with food and you're drinking lots of water with it. Because like I said, it's a body thing. That's what you want to do. It helps you absorb as much that's inside the food that you're eating. It helps you absorb all of that stuff. That's what those supplements do for you. It's not a magic pill. They're not going to get you ripped overnight. Nothing bad. It's there's no such thing. I know a lot of people will probably think about, so let me do one of those separate. Let me do this. Let me take the GLP-1. It's like the biggest ones that a lot of my clients are coming to me about. If you want me to be very honest with you, if you got yourself down and said, hey, listen, let me just stick to a strict nutritional meal, you'll be totally fine. You don't need to do those quick fixes at all, unless you're like severely overweight or you have some medical issues, then that's different. But if you're able to just sit down and say, hey, listen, let me plan out my meals for the whole week, let me figure out what I'm going to eat, let me put this down and say, okay, this is what I'm going to stick to, and take the meals if you can work. It's not that hard. You just have a container, you just put it there, and you have it there for the refrigerator. I think that's like probably have work for it, just put them right there and have it for later. It's no big deal for that. But a lot of us, what we tend to do is we feel like it's too lazy. We don't want to do stuff like that. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about also. Now, if we want to talk about BCAAs, that's another thing that's kind of a hot topic as well too. BCAAs is another thing with protein as well. Do you need it? Not really, but it helps. It just helps, that's all. So it's something that you can aid in. There's much better ways to spend $20 in GNC than taking these BCAAs. But what I want you guys to do is just stick to the basics of stuff. Fish oils, multivitamins, L-arginine, stuff like that is so important to take because it helps with absorption. Now, yes.
Oh, casein is in the previous slide, it says casein is fast or is it slow?
It's a slow release.
It says fast.
Okay, well, that's a mistake. That's definitely
Just-
not fault. Thank you for that. Yeah, no, casein is a slow releasing protein. Whey is a fast releasing one. So that's why you take it. We're not talking about it. When you take the whey protein, what you want to do is you take that after the workout. That's where it helps with gaining, with replenishing the muscles and everything like that.
Thank you.
No problem. Now, I want to talk about mindset. A lot of us, what we tend to do when it comes to this kind of stuff, we feel like we put so many excuses in our heads of what we want to do and what we can't do. Oh my God, like I got kids, I gotta go to work, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I want you guys to honestly think about some stuff. Discipline over motivation. Now, motivation, it'll get you in the door. You go to the gym, you go to the supermarket, you'll get all these foods and whatnot. But after a while, that stuff gets very, very, very old, real quick. Discipline is what keeps you in the door. Motivation just gets you there and that's it. But you have to do this stuff on days that you don't want to do it. It's like breathing, like I've done this for such a long time where for me, it's like, okay, I don't want to go to the gym today. There's a lot of days where I don't want to go to the gym. A lot of days. But it's like, you know what, this has been a part of me for such a long time. I have to do it, you know, this is my job, I love doing this, I love personal training, I love clients coming to me, and I love the fact that they come to me and they say, hey, listen, I want to look like you, which I don't think I would do spectacular, but, you know, I'm just like, okay, fine, I'll show you how I did this and how I got here. When you're disciplined to doing this kind of stuff on a day-to-day basis, it becomes like you do this stuff, you wake up, you're doing the same thing in routine over and over and over again. This kind of stuff helps you with becoming a better version of you. That's what you want to do. It's all about mindset, it all starts in the mind. Now, fitness and mental health. This reduces a lot of stress when you're working out. A lot of stress. I mean, I've gone through breakups, I've gone through deaths, I've gone through so much stuff that I felt like, you know, and there's literally times where I was at the gym where I had to take a step back and say, oh my God, I'm just eating too much. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I literally cried in the gym, like tears rolling down, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe what's going on. But working out kind of keeps me centered, you know, it's something that makes me feel like I'm in control. It's the one thing in my day where I actually control something. You know, I can't control anything out in the world. I can't do anything. But when I'm in the gym and I'm working out, I can control the weights, I can control how my body looks, I can control my heart rate and whatnot, I control my thoughts. Everything gets pretty much worked out when I'm working out. You know, so that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you turn this into a positive. You don't want to turn this into something that's a negative where it's like, I gotta go to the gym again, you know, like, you don't want to make it seem like that. For me, personally, like I said to you guys, I like superheroes, you know, I like bodybuilding, I love stuff like that. So, you know, going to the gym for me is like another episode of X-Men or something like that for me. So I don't mind it, that's just how it is for me. You have to find your own thing in which you feel like, okay, why am I doing this? You don't have to be the fittest person in the gym. No one said that. You don't have to have a six-pack. You don't have to have a big bicep. You don't have to have any of that stuff. Just get there. Have a goal, what you want to do, and just take you. It just takes part of it. Now, progress. A lot of us tend to feel like we're impatient. The results aren't coming as quick. I have clients all the time who say, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm throwing my money into it, like, and nothing's happening, you know? And I'm just like, listen, well, are you sticking to the meal plan? And 9 times out of 10 they're not. And I have to really tell them, like, listen, that's on you. Just being in the gym this is just 30% of it. That's it. It's only 30% of it. What you do outside of the gym means everything, you know? How do you deal with stress? Like going back to, you know, the whole mental health thing. How do you deal with stress and how to regulate that? Stress, when you're over stressed out, you build up cortisol. All right here in this section right here. So you're gonna get bloated. You're gonna feel, oh my God, the water retention. It just happens. What a lot of bodybuilders do is, what they do is, you think that they're very narcissistic, but at times when they're preparing for a show, they shut out the whole world. They just are like, listen, I'm just focused on this. And you kind of have to. When you're with your body, this is a one-on-one thing. You can't trade up your body. There's no rental. You can't go to God and say, hey, listen, I need something new. You know, this one's not working. I need a payment plan. Can you give me another body? It doesn't work like that. This is your only body. You have to take care of it. Like, it's your dream car. It's a Lamborghini that you've been, that you dying to wait that you to drive this car, and you finally got it in possession, and you just want to make sure, hey, no one hits it. You know, you go to the mall, they're like, listen, park my car all the way back where nobody touched it, you know. You got to look at your body or something like that. When you are working out, you have to make sure that you have the right mindset for this. You have to. You have to really dig down deep into yourself and say, what am I doing this for? Because there's going to be times you're going to be like, what am I doing this for? Who am I doing this for? There's been a lot of times where I've done that in gym as well too. I'm like, okay, I can deadlift 585 pounds. Who the hell cares, right? You know, it's like big thinking, something like that. You have to make sure that you have a drive on what wakes you up every morning to actually working out and doing this. Perfection isn't required at all. No one asked you to be perfect, like I said before. No one asked you, no one said, hey, listen, you need to look like this or look like that. You know, with this whole body positivity movement, you know, I feel like a lot of people tend to feel like, okay, you know, just accept me who I am and that's it. No. If you want to be the best version of yourself, you're going to have to keep real with yourself. You're going to have to say, listen, how do I become the best version of me? You know what I'm saying? And actually, body positivity is something where you're getting yourself to the state of your body where you want it to look or want it to be healthy, but you love it at each progress as you're going along with it. You don't want to look at your body and say, all right, you know what, this is who I am, the world got accepted who I am, and that's it, take a step back. No, you got to keep trying that every day. Even when you reach that goal that you want, it's all about maintaining it. You have to maintain the way you look. Now, if some people, if you feel like unmotivated or whatnot, I want you to feel like, I want you to just say to yourself, listen, what am I doing this for? Who am I doing this for? Why do I want to do this? Every day you have to tell yourself this kind of stuff. You may have work, you may have other stuff that are going on in your life. You have to say, listen, I got to take some time for myself. Life gets hard. Don't work out. I'm not telling you to go to the gym. Just go take a walk around the block. Do something to stay active, you know. Now, if you're struggling with your confidence, that's something that a lot of us men deal with, where we feel like we're not making enough money. We feel like we're not, you know, we don't have, our lady probably is like, listen, you promised to take us on vacation, and now you're stuck at work again. It's like, all right, you know what, you gotta really tell yourself and say, listen, you know what, I'm trying my best and I'm doing my best. You have to surround yourself with good people who are gonna be around you and say, hey, listen, you're doing fine. The right people are gonna look at you and say, you're trying it, you're doing your best, and that's totally fine. Now, if you're feeling burned out, you need to make sure that you're rested, because that's the biggest thing as well, too. A lot of people neglect that. I see a lot of videos on social media with these big guys, and they're working out, doing their thing, and they're like, you know, no days off. That's their big thing. You know, no days off. I don't do this. You know, I'm a dog. That's it. And I'm like, dude, you gotta rest. You know, like there's no way for your body to, you know, go through this stuff. Your body has to actually rest to be able to recover. If you constantly, those people who kind of sporadically goes to the gym and it just stops out of nowhere and it keeps going and it comes back, you know, that's putting your body at a stagnant position where it doesn't know what it wants to do anymore because you're not building up anything. If you're the type of person who works out for a month straight, like especially those people who are New Year's resolution, you start off for a month and then you're going by March. This happens all the time. I always get clients who start with me in January, they're going by March, something comes up or whatever like that, and I never see them again until next January. And I'm like, my prices went up, I'm sorry, and then you can't afford it anymore. It happens every time. And I don't like that because you know the thing is, with this job, I love it. I love helping people. If I can do this for free, I would totally do it. If I had all the money in the world, I'd still do this because I love it. But you have to make sure that you're putting yourself first. You know, like this is something that this is a relationship that you're building with yourself. You can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. You can't expect anybody to love you if you don't love yourself. You know, you have to. You know, working out is not one of those things where it's like, okay, it's all about me, I'm vain, I want to look good, I'm going to take pictures in the mirror, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this pose, I'm going to do that. No. When you're working out, and most of the guys in the gym, you'll see this, the biggest guy in the gym is usually the biggest teddy bear in the gym because he's done this for so long where it's probably insecurity that he built up and he just said, you know what, I'm going to start working out and he's the nicest person in the world. People have this big misconception about people who work out and they feel like that's all they do. But honestly, it's something that it's a healthy habit to build, you know. It's not a quick fix. It's something that, you know, you build a relationship with yourself. It's like a marriage. That's pretty much what working out is like. It's like a marriage. You're literally in a relationship with yourself. That's why you can't cheat on your diet. That's like cheating on your spouse. They're going to find out. They always do. They're going to go through the phone, you know, you like, why you acting like that? Why you get crazy? Right. Keeping secrets, you know. They're going to find out. No matter how long you think that you're going to get away with it, you're not. So when it comes to your diet, you have to make sure that you're putting good stuff inside the system. Also comes with mindset. You've got to make sure you're eating foods that are making your testosterone go through the roof. You want to eat foods that are making you feel good. That's what you want to do. Now, I want to leave this section open because I want you guys to ask me any questions about this because I want this to be a kind of an open conversation with you guys so I get to know you guys. So if you guys have any questions, ask anything you want here.
Any questions?
I got you. Timmy said.
Thank you. I have a question surrounding like the schedule. So I'm a therapist, so I work in the evening. And like there has always been an issue for me, because I never want to eat before my sessions, because I feel heavy. I always have to eat and then like, do the 10 minutes. So what do you suggest for someone that works into the evening, like 8 to 5?
Okay, so with that, I would suggest that I would suggest like 30 minutes before your sessions, or any type of window that you have something small, like a small snack or something like that. That's gonna keep your energy going, you know. I don't want you to overeat or anything like that. Like, you can have like, yogurt or something like that with fruits. Have some nuts also, just to pick at one, not with some protein as well. Try to do something like that that's gonna kind of satisfy those cravings. And I know you work in the evening, so I know it's kind of hard. You don't want to be talking to people with food in your mouth, that's kind of unprofessional. I've done it once, but you definitely want to make sure that you prioritize some time to just have some light snacks in between, so it's going to give you some energy. And also, like I said, if you're doing it at night, make sure you're not having any carbs. That's it. Because like I said, those carbs are being turned into fat because while you're sleeping, it's like you guys are where's this energy? We're not doing anything, we're going to sleep, so we'll just store this for later, So that's something that you really want to do. Just kind of have a little snack for yourself, and you should be fine.
Just a follow-up. Quick follow-up. So, I mean, yes, I thank you for the carbs and the link, but like you said, just a follow-up with that. So like it's more focused like a high protein eating.
Yes.
So if I tend to get hungry after my sessions, like what's like a good dinner option? You have like a good dinner,
Okay, yeah.
Just want to get some good options.
So if you want a dinner option for something like that, I would say have like salmon with vegetables, and then that's it. Something fit, or even like you have chicken breast as well too. Chicken breast with some type of vegetables will be totally fine. Try not to have rice or potatoes and stuff like that. Like that stuff is kind of starchy, and you don't want that to stick in your stomach, like I said, at night. So having like vegetable and protein should be totally fine. You're very welcome.
You have a question about
Yeah, how much cardio are you doing versus bowling versus the and also, are you doing the same thing you're lifting usually?
Okay, so that's a very, very good question, because when I'm trying to get in shape and I want like, a six-pack for, someone, which that's never happened since I was 25, but, whatever. What I like to do is I'll do my cardio early in the morning, and I'll do it fasted cardio. Now, I know a lot of you guys are asking me, what the hell is fasted cardio? Fasted cardio, you're waking up early in the morning, nothing's in your system. Absolutely nothing is in your system. Only water. You go and you do your little hour of cardio, walking or running on the treadmill, going to the gym, running on the treadmill. I'll do that for an hour. And that's how I burn on fat. That's how I'll lean out. That's what I'll do for that. And then I'll come back to the gym later on. I'll do my workout. And after my workout, I do my cardio. That's when I'm leaning out. Now, if I'm just trying to maintain, I'll just do cardio maybe for 30 minutes after my workout, and then that's it. Now, also, this kind of goes specifically to certain people now, because some people need a little bit more cardio than other people and whatnot. So it works a little bit differently. So it's a little bit more of a science, but that's pretty much more of the breakdown of it. What I want you guys to do is, if you're trying to build muscle and you're trying to lose weight at the same time, work out first, then do your cardio. Don't do the opposite. Always do the heavy lifting first and all the weights around the resistance training. You do that first, then you do your cardio. Then you do your cardio beforehand. Always, if you're going to do your cardio beforehand, make sure you're doing it just as a warm-up for like maybe 5 to 15 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. Just to get your body going, and that's it. You don't want to have anything more than that, because then you're going to muscle build, and that's it.
In the interest of time, just one last question, please.
A few years ago, I lost about 20 to 30 pounds, and then I hit a brick wall. And then I started gaining a few, and then it became a tug of war. So is there any way to maybe further the loss of weight or keep it off to overcome this brick wall?
Okay, so when you were doing that, did you completely stop working out?
Well, no, I still kept working out.
Okay, so what you want to do is you may want to change a few things in your workout program to intensify it, And also, you may want to change your eating habits as well too, to actually like really like overpower that going on. We all reach plateaus, you know, but it's a little bit more personal with each person. That's why they hit plateau. So to kind of like answer your question, I would have to actually like sit down with you and ask you like mentally what happened and all that kind of stuff. Because it gets really like tricky when people hit plateau. People hit plateaus for different reasons, that's why. And also their bodies respond to certain things a little bit more differently. So that's why I would be giving you a disservice if I told you layman's excuse why I hit a plateau. For me, I know why I hit a plateau. Sometimes it's like, all right, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I gotta change the format of how I do things. I'll maybe like change my routine up just a little bit. I'll do the same thing, but I'll change it up just a little bit, where it's like, okay, if it's chest day, I'll start off with flies instead of just going straight into dumbbell presses and whatnot. Or, I'll do cardio, for a little bit longer and put it at a higher speed. I'll do something like that. But everyone is very different. So to kind of give you an answer, I would like to talk to you after this work and then talk to you and give you a full answer for yourself, why you got by job. All right?
Thank you.
No problem. And that's all the time I got for today. So.
More about the services that you have. Where can they find you?
So I work over at Retro Fitness in Freeport. I do classes over there, but I do freelance and personal training. I don't work for a company. I don't own my own company, and I'm trying to build on that. So if you guys ever want to reach out to me, I have social media, which is complicated, but it's called Superboy Strength. And if you follow me on that, you'll definitely be more into to like answer any questions that you guys want to. I make my social media very fun as well too. So if you see me acting silly and goofy, but still educational, yeah, that's me. If you see the colorful thing, it's me. It's definitely me. So Superboy Strength. Yeah. Superboy, not man yet, but yeah. That's my dad, that's why.
Applause for Damore. There's a lot that goes into health and wellness and fitness. And I will say something, I recently started going back to the gym, and it's so easy. I guess you go like 2-3 weeks, you see the muscle building, but that visceral fat row is it's so hard to get rid of. I'm on the InBody, I'm lucky because I had a clinic. I'm on the InBody every week, and I'm looking at everything, and my total numbers staying consistent, my muscles going up, my visceral fat. I'm like, how many sit-ups, how many VRs, how many running? So thank you, Damore, that was very helpful. All right, so we're talking about optimization, we're talking about so many great things. A lot of you that come into the clinic, you've heard about our optimization specialist that just joined us, Kenny Costin. So there are a lot of like key words being thrown out there nowadays. Peptide is one of them. I'm seeing all over Instagram, all over TikTok. It's everywhere. You also hear about testosterone, which you kind of touched a bit earlier. So Kenya's bringing that into the primary care sector with us. Your primary care provider can't do it all, right? And Dr. Nate was trying. He was doing really good at it. But what he was doing in that process was burning out. We were very blessed to have Kenya come on and really be a specialist. She'll tell you more about herself, but she really focuses on sports medicine, chronic pain. She's going to be working with the WNBA one day. Watch. I said that here. She will be. So, without further ado, please welcome Kenny Costin.
Thank you guys. What's up? You guys awake? Girls good? I know everybody's trying to go watch the game. The game don't come on until 8. I got time. All right. So, my name is Penny. I'm the newest addition to We Drive Health as a longevity and optimization specialist. So, like Luis just said, peptides, hormone replacement therapy, keywords popular right now. So I definitely want to shed some light on all these things for y'all. Okay. So we've been talking a lot about different aspects of mental health, but 65% of y'all avoid seeing a provider for as long as possible until something is critically wrong. I get calls all the time from my guy friends, hey, my arm is falling off and it's been about 5 days. Do you think I should get this checked out? Like, I know you guys have that conversation of, getting in to see someone and just getting checked out early on. So when we talk about testosterone, right? A man in his 40s today has up to 30% less testosterone than his father did at the same exact age. Okay, so something that we're seeing that's happening drastically. Our testosterone levels across the board are falling. Okay, I'm seeing, just like this says, dads, and they come in with their sons bring their fathers, and the dad's testosterone levels are way higher. Now, why is this happening? It's happening because of our environment. It's happening because of the ultra-processed foods that we're eating, right? We're just a lazier society than we used to be, okay? Only 12% of American adults are metabolically healthy. 12%. Okay? Now, this can mean a bunch of different things, right? Having insulin resistance, right? We're kind of getting into that era of, people having diabetes, being pre-diabetic, watching your A1C, watching your fasting insulin levels, okay? And metabolic dysfunction is one of the biggest drivers of hormone decline that I've seen. And I see this almost every day. I'm sure Dr. Mayer, you're seeing that as well. I'm fine. So I hear this a lot from my guys. You guys think that you have to be superheroes and that you can't talk about, what's going on and, any pain that you're in, or if you're feeling lower energy, you have to just power through all of these things. But you're missing out on really reaching your optimal self, okay? You're not fine. You have a lot of resources here that you can go speak to and figure out, what's wrong, what's going on, why am I constantly feeling this way? So one of the big things that I wanted to touch on here is to speak about who you are becoming. So before we even talk about, the different kinds of peptides, testosterone replacement therapy, you really have to think about, what do I see myself as? What am I working towards, right? Having that specific goal. Like me personally, for me to accomplish something, I have to have a very specific objective, and I just become obsessed with it. I think when we generalize things too much, it's easy to fall off. It's easy for you to kind of go astray from what your ultimate goal may be. So when guys come in, I always say, what are your top 3 goals that you want to achieve? What do you want out of this consult right now? Because it's not about me, it's about you, right? And I like to get specific, because if you just say, all right, I just want to be healthy, well, what does that mean? All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So be, do, have. This is a concept that I got from a man named Myron Golden, and he's a business coach and also a pastor, and he kind of combines the two together. So be is who you are becoming. It's the foundation of everything else is built on. Do, the protocols, the habits, the accountability that flows from who you are. Have is the things that you want. You want the respect, you want the drive, the presence, right? The result, not the starting point. But the issue is, a lot of times, and not just men, women too, we do this backwards, right? We talk about all the things that we want to have, right? Oh, I want to feel better. I want to have a 6-pack. I want to have a better sex drive, right? And then we say, all right, listen, you just came in, you just tell me what to do, I'll do whatever you tell me. That's it, right? But what happens with that is we fall off, right? And then the B never actually gets here. So let's talk a little bit more about that, right? When we talk about the being, you have to figure out the kind of person that you want to be. So I always use Kobe in any of the talks that I give. But Kobe is one of the greatest basketball players we've ever known. So you have to think about, what did Kobe have to do in order to be who he was, right? What are the things, what was his mindset? What are the things that he had to do every single day to become the best, okay? And I use this formula almost every day in my life, when I'm like, I want to be a better business owner. Okay, well, what does being a better business owner look like? Okay, who do I look up to, and who do I have to think about and follow their actions in order to be that person, right? The doing, right? If we're talking, just sort of general health, right? The workouts, the nutrition. if you want to be a better communicator, a better partner, right? What are those things that you have to do on a day-to-day basis to build that compounding interest to become that person that we talked about during the meeting? And then have, right? That's the end goal. Like we said, having that respect, having the drive, the presence, all of that becomes more available to you the more that you follow this system. And you keep it simple because you don't need anything complicated to get there, all right? But most of that journey is coming from that gap of where you are right now and where you want to be. What I'm going to say seems a little bit counterintuitive, but you never actually really be. And I say that because you're always becoming. You're always working towards something. There's always room for growth, always room for improvement. And that's the part where you start to grow into the man or the woman that you're trying to become. So, you know, you guys go home before the game comes on, take some time to think about, I see you smiling back there. Think about like who you want to become and describe it. Put it in your phone, you don't gotta tell anybody else right now, make it your own personal goal of, you know, what does that look like to you? Do you have energy that lasts all day? Like, what do you have to do to make sure that, you know, that you're able to hit that metric? Okay? Do you feel sharp? Do you feel like you're on top of things, right? Do you feel super responsive, that you can communicate your ideas well? Do you feel like you can control your emotions? You can control your anger? You need to describe and figure out who you want to become, because I can't stand up here and tell you who to be. And this stuff takes time. The slow start doesn't mean it's not working, right? It just means that you haven't become him yet, right? And remember how I said that journey in there, you're always becoming, always. Every workout, everything you eat, every part of the protocol that you follow, every part of that consistency is compound interest into who you're ultimately going to become. Now we can talk about peptides and testosterone replacement therapy, all right? But before that, it all starts with your blood work. It all starts with seeing Dr. Nate or coming to see me to talk about what's actually going on with your body, right? I get a lot of guys that I have the first conversation with who are like, hey, do you know you're pre-diabetic? Do you know that your testosterone levels are this low? You can't optimize what you haven't measured. And you don't want to go into TRT or peptide therapy completely blind. So let's get into testosterone. All right, so a lot of the drivers of low testosterone, right? That metabolic dysfunction and obesity that we talked about. Luis just brought up visceral fat, okay? You know, when you walk around, you see guys that got these big bellies sitting in front of them. There's a lot of visceral fat that's sitting under there. All these dad bods, not a good thing, obviously. A lot of visceral fat sitting there. And chronic stress, right? You briefly spoke about elevated cortisol and how that suppresses your testosterone levels, right? Your poor sleep quality. Okay, I know we're always on the go and we live off of coffee and Celsius and all that too. At least I love coffee, I love my Celsius, but I also recognize when my sleep quality has been consistently bad and how that's going to affect you the next day and what that's actually doing to your body if that's happening consistently. Sedentary lifestyle. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I know Damore was just up here telling y'all about how to work out and get up and go take a walk. I tell my patients walking is not exercise. All of y'all walked in here, right? Y'all are capable of going to the gym and putting some weight on. All right? I don't, we gotta get the 10,000 steps in a day, but that's just a part of it. All right? We need to be challenged. Environmental toxins, BPAs, plastics, pesticides, the ultra-processed foods, and poor nutrition, and chronic inflammation. Right? Certain medications, opioids, statins, antidepressants, all of these things play such a role in what's driving the low testosterone. All right? And this is why it's so important to come in and get your blood work done so that we can see these key areas that are holding you back. Looking at your thyroid, right? Looking at, electrolyte levels, how your kidneys are functioning. When's the last time you guys have had your blood pressures checked? Right? We need to be able to get a clear picture of all of those things so that we can guide you in the right direction and not just say, here, Here's a syringe of testosterone, good luck. Or here's a stack of peptides, good luck. So this is pretty much just showing, back in the 1980s, the average testosterone levels were at 501. And you can see over here that 2015, 2016, they came down to about 451, and then between 2002 and 2004, they're at 391. So they have been on a steady decline. This is over 3 decades. So here's another interesting thing. When you go to get your blood work done, and why we talk so much about being your optimal self and not just being within the normal range. So LabCorp is one of the largest clinical labs in America. And when you guys know how when you look at your blood work and you guys look and you're like, oh, I don't see anything red, everything must be fine, right? Well, this is what's happening. So before July 2017, this was the range of normal testosterone. So if your testosterone was at 300, you were normal, you didn't, you were below range, and you were eligible for treatment. So because we have become so unhealthy, right, they have shifted the ranges of it, okay? So a man at 300 now is considered to be normal. So when you guys ask, hey, is this covered by insurance and all of that, we can work within their normal ranges, but you see how they're moving the goalposts to fit our rapid decline. And that's why we really harp on, hey, you need to be optimal. When I'm telling you guys, hey, your testosterone should be at this number, and they're just like, well, it didn't come up red on my lab report. No, I know, but this is what's happening. And I'm sure it's going to change again. What happens is they compare you to everyone else in America. All right, this is not something that takes who you are and your experiences and what you do on a day-to-day into consideration. So I treat, and Dr. Nate treats, we treat off of how you're feeling. What are the symptoms you're coming in with? Not just a range, right? Because not to say that it doesn't matter, but it's not the one and only thing that we pay attention to. And let's just get into a little bit about the myths of TRT. That TRT causes heart attacks and strokes. Has anyone heard this before? Well, in 2025, the FDA removed the cardiovascular black box warning. The Traverse trial showed that 5,000 plus men found no increased cardiovascular risk with TRT. And with that being said, you need to understand what your cardiovascular risk is before you even start TRT, right? Another myth, that TRT causes prostate cancer. Again, this Traverse trial showed identical prostate cancer rates between TRT and placebo groups. The old fear is not supported by the evidence. I'm telling you guys this because these are the main things that men come in and they're worried about. That, and because they're like, I don't want to stick myself with a needle because I'm too scared of needles. And I get it. But these are some of the biggest things that are out there that really steered men away from wanting to get onto this therapy. Another myth, TRT is just steroids, it's only for bodybuilders. Not true at all. The way that we treat is you are medically guided into using the correct doses of testosterone replacement therapy so that you're safe and that you actually feel good. We're doing it the right way. We're not just sending you off to figure it out on your own. We're not using any real science. So what can TRT do for you, right? Sustain energy, mental clarity, increase of your muscle mass and strength, helping to reduce body fat. Before I even go further than that, this is not a magical drug, right? TRT is not going to magically make you skinny. Okay? The same way Ozempic is not going to magically make you skinny. It's not going to increase your muscle mass and strength if you're not in the gym putting on weights and challenging yourself. Right? Improve mood and emotional stability. Another myth that I didn't mention was people are like, well, if I get on TRT, I'm going to be angry all the time. I'm going to rage. And that's not true. I actually find that more men are more mentally grounded when they're on testosterone replacement therapy. I think that testosterone replacement therapy helps to highlight the most optimal parts of who you actually are. It really does help to balance you out mentally physically, you feel more motivated, you feel more like yourself, like you did 15, 20 years ago. And you just start walking and moving different. Restored libido and sexual function, better sleep quality, sharper focus and daily drive, stronger bones, reduced fracture risk, improving your cardiovascular markers, better insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, protection against metabolic syndrome, and improve cognitive function and memory. There's a lot of benefits of it. And now, I'm not up here to say that, go start TRT tomorrow. I think that it's worth exploring for you. I think that it's worth going to have a conversation and seeing if it's something that's right for you. All right, let's talk about peptides. So, with the peptides, all right, peptides are, it's a signaling protein, okay? Basically, there's a peptide out there for everything at this point, right? But what I'm finding is people are coming in and asking for all these different peptides, but they're not even exactly sure what it does. So let's talk about some of the myths, okay? It's safe to buy peptides online. It's basically the same thing. That is absolutely not true. I have had many patients who want to go buy peptides online because they're cheaper, and they come back and they're saying this did nothing for me. Save yourself the time, effort, and money, all right, from buying something that is being shipped to you overseas, all right? Online peptides are unregulated, have no quality or purity guarantees. I don't care if it says physician approved, doctor approved, that's a red flag right there. Stay away from it. A pharmaceutical grade is another big one that's on there. You want to actually see a provider about it, okay? Peptides will fix my testosterone levels. They will not. Okay, this is exactly why I say go get these things checked before you start any of your peptides. Okay, peptides and testosterone address different systems. Some peptides support hormonal function, but they are not a substitute for TRT when TRT is clinically indicated. Okay, if I just take peptides, I'll lose weight and gain muscle. We talked on this multiple times already. Peptides are steroids. This is one thing that I feel men are scared of. They're just like, listen, I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I don't want to take any of that stuff. It's not that. Okay, it's very different. We're very calculated and clinical in how we approach peptides. So we spoke about what it is. Spoke about not getting them from the internet. They're short chains of amino acids that signal your body to do specific things, heal faster, burn fat, build muscle, sleep deeper, recover stronger. They don't override your biology, they work with it. So, like I was saying, there are so many different peptides out there that we can use. BPC 157 probably being the most popular peptide that people hear about when they have injuries. And it's good, it works well. But the way that I approach it is, being a bit more strategic about it. So right now I have a guy who is waiting for ACL surgery, okay? And one of his first questions is, hey, should I be on BPC 157 right now, right? Well, I mean, you could, but I said, hey, let's just wait a little bit because it's not gonna heal a fully torn ACL, right? Let's wait a little bit, see what your surgical plan is before we just start throwing you on things, okay? So right now where we are, because it's been a few months, I actually have him on tirzepatide and CJC and Damore, okay? Because lost a lot of weight. This guy was in the gym 5-6 days a week, very fit dude, went from doing, all of the things to doing nothing, put on a little pounds. So right now we're working through that, and our plan is to actually start the BPC after he has his surgery. Okay, and so this is what I mean by being strategic on how you are implementing peptides into your life and for very specific functions. You don't need to have 5 stacks of different peptides. How do you know what's working? How do you know what isn't? Okay, Samorelin is another popular one. Tesamorelin is super popular, especially when we're talking about visceral fat. Okay, semaglutide and tirzepatide, those are the GLP-1s. The way that I approach it is I like to microdose it with patients. So that one, we can avoid more of the side effects, you're still getting some help with some of those cravings and helping to decrease your inflammation. Okay, I know there are some guys who are just like, that's a woman's drug. I don't need to take this. I don't need to lose 20, 30 pounds. I just want to lose something else. And I get it. But they do work really well if you use it the correct way. I know that we had a talk about erectile dysfunction. PT141 is a great peptide to use to help restore libido and sex drive. Okay, so again, there are so many more peptides that are out there, but I think what can really move the needle for you is if you're strategic in how you approach it and which ones you're using at different times. And it all comes personalized to you and what your goals are and what you're looking to achieve.
I have a question. Sorry to bother you, but when it comes to microdosing, I know it's safer. What evidence do you have that backs up in the fact that it's just as efficacious as the lowest of the doses?
So there currently isn't so much evidence, like documented evidence for the microdosing. This is something that I have trialed in my practice with many patients, and they seem to respond much better to it. Again, avoiding a lot of those side effects. There are a lot of patients that can't tolerate these higher doses, and we work our way up, and it's still like, hey, I'm still losing, right? I'm still losing weight, I'm not losing any muscle, and that's why we do these reassessments. We step on the in-body to see, where your body fat to muscle ratio is. How's your energy, right? I use a 3D body scan in my practice, so we're able to actually measure your entire body, right? And then I use it on, even for women, or women that have had PCOS that can't lose weight, I'll microdose that for them to help with that information. So it really is, I think that there is going to be a lot of data that comes out for it specifically, but as of right now, this is something that I've tried with patients, and I've seen it work really well. Okay. So why we built this, we spoke about optimization and what that really means, right? We talked about what some of these normal levels look like for people. But we want to save you the time and the guesswork, right? You don't have to worry about every single marker that's there. We put the pieces of that puzzle together to help you figure out what's going to be the best course of action for your health. Okay? When I sit with a patient, we're sitting for about 45 minutes, and I'm getting to know you. You're doing most of the talking, I'm just asking questions. You take that, you take your history, you take your blood work, we do a full workup to figure out, okay, hey, this is what I'm suggesting for your care based on what you told me and your top 3 goals. This is how long it's going to take. This is what you can expect. Okay? And going on the Reddit threads, and I know guys talk a lot in the gym. And you're on YouTube looking at all these things, but listen, you have the resources now to come speak with us, come see us, come get a full workup, and just learn about what we find to be safe. You're going to be monitored, and I think that this is how you get the best results. The best time to start was 10 years ago, and the second best time is now. So keep that in mind. But again, be the man first. Go home, think about who you want to be, what you want out of your life right now, what's important to you, and we'll help you figure out how you can get there. Whether it's mental health, physical health, in the gym, doing all the things with nutrition as well. We are super excited to have this partnership. And thank you to Dr. Nate, thank you to Louise for bringing me on. I appreciate you guys. I really think that this optimization division is really going to help to push what healthcare looks like, push it forward, and really get people feeling that they're best again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions? We have one question, and then anyone can be there afterwards. Good question. Is a lot of that covered by insurance or
For the peptides, you do have to pay out of pocket for it. So let me be clear about the peptides. Most of them are not FDA approved, so they are not going to be covered by insurance. Testosterone replacement therapy, to an extent, can be covered by insurance, but care is very limited, right? Again, you saw those ranges that we had up there. Working within those ranges is just not, it's really just not gonna offer you, you know, the best care that you can give. So we try to bypass all of that. And for me personally, I do cash pay for both therapies.
Awesome.
Yes, you can. Yep. We
You
also
take
do
all payments?
Huh?
You take all payments?
Yes, we do take all the payments. You have care credit, all the good stuff. Klarna, firm, all that. Any other questions?
Well, we're gonna have some parking lot afterwards. Kenya, thank you so much for being here. That was very impactful. All right, so we're almost there. Thank you for holding tight. By the way, I heard that the connection was really good. I liked it. So I put out my cousin's contact information now. She had it in the VJ's bag. I did not see it. She called me and yelled at me. So my husband told on me. So he didn't put the sign down. So now please go listen to me. So to wrap it up, before we give closing remarks from Dr. Nate, I really just wanted to again thank our collaborators and our sponsors. And I wanted to give each of them 2 minutes if they wanted to say something really quick about themselves. That way you know all the work and the people that kind of helped us get here today. The first one that's going to be going on is Javon Lewis. He's from the partnership. As a primary care, we have a lot of our patients on PrEP, on Aptitude. And if you're part of the first annual Women's Summit that happened in November, or the events competition last year, we speak a lot about HIV prevention and all the work that gets done in the community by our partners like V and like AHF. So please welcome Javon Lewis. Please, sorry, welcome to V.
John Lewis, the healthcare. This is actually my second month with the company. I've been doing HIV care treatment prevention for about 8 years. Started off as a linguistic care navigator and tester in New Jersey. Sorry about that. Started in Jersey City, New Jersey. And since then, I've been working with community-based organizations. I've worked with planning groups. I've worked with the Department of Health in the state of New Jersey because it's very important to me that individuals have this information when it comes to their sexual health. So once again, Beacon Healthcare, 100% dedicated to HIV care and treatment and prevention. If you guys have any questions that pertain to Aptitude and or Tapanuka, I have some information in the desk, and you can also talk to Dr. Nate. Thank you.
I'm not that strong, just really like. Everyone in the gym, but not that much. Next, we're going to have our partners, great sponsors since the first one 2 years ago. So we'd like to welcome Jordan Cabral Martin. He's part of the Vision of the real estate team that helps us get here every single year. So please give it up.
How's it going, guys? I actually want to bring up my director of relations here really quick. We're going to talk about it. First off, I mean, Dr. Nate has always been doing amazing things, and you know, I have to say this not because I'm biased. This is my doctor, right? But I also would say this: he brought in such an amazing team. He does these events to again empower us men to go out there and obviously live our life out of best, right? Whether it's performance, whether it's looks, whether it's feelings, right? We have to be intentional about it, and that's why we support him. I mean, the guy's doing amazing things, so, you know, again, I wanna give him a round of applause. He's gonna get himself. I doubt you're gonna get Taylor, I'm very modest, but we're appreciating great, okay? So I'm gonna quickly introduce him. I already said it, Rishi Luthra. He's gonna quickly mention a little bit about what we do, what we have to offer, and, Rich, what we got coming for these guys?
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I want to hear you doing. All right. My name is Rishi Luthra. I'm from Vision Elite. We're a real estate and business solution team that serves people to grow their wealth in life. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest internationally or locally, we are here to help you, assist you with any transactions of any real estate that you're looking to acquire, or you're looking to get any portions. And I think Jordan has something that he wants to.
Yeah, you know what? We were sitting back there, and again, Dr. Nate, this is for you, my man. This cost us a ton of money to do, right? But we're gonna do it just for you guys, all right? So here's what we're gonna do. For those of you here, we're talking about getting healthy, right? Which is number one. But right after you get healthy, the next step is to get wealthy, right? You gotta start putting money into your pocket, figuring out different ways to build it, whether it's residual, or we're talking about it's your first time getting into something, right? We're talking business, we're talking real estate. Here's what we're gonna do for you guys, okay? So if you guys have your phone right now, what I want you guys to do, right? You're gonna take out this number. I'm not gonna repeat it. It's nowhere else you're gonna find it. So either you're gonna take advantage of it today, or you're not gonna take advantage of it. It's okay whether or not. We help a lot of people. But here's what I'm gonna tell you, okay? We're gonna give you guys a free 15-minute consultation. What we're gonna go over it's called a strategy session. It's on Zoom or Google Meets. And in that consultation, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually go over, just like they do for, looking over your health. We're gonna do the same thing with your wealth. Now, we're not a financial planner, so we're not gonna ask you to see your documents and all these different type of stuff, right? But what we are gonna do is we're gonna create a strategic plan to whether it is a business, whether it is real estate, right? Whether it is house hacking, right? There's a lot of different ways for you to earn money right now. And when we not all agree right now, it's getting a little strapped for money. Am I not right? Am I wrong? Am I right? Right? Come on now. So what I'm gonna do for you is we're gonna give you guys the 1% secrets. The things that a lot of people don't know. Yes, I got a cowboy hat on, by the way. Why is that? We do a lot of different things in different states. And the one thing that I tell you is the rooms that we get into, a lot of the people that we see do not get exposed to it, okay? So right now, again, you're gonna text the number 516-407-7286. Okay, so that's 516-407-7286. And what you're gonna send is your full name, and you have to put you're at the men's conference. And say, I'm looking at doing a strategy session. I promise you it's gonna change your life, okay? So again, thank you guys so much. My name is Jordan Brown Martin, the Digital Real Estate Team, the business team. And that's what we do.
I'm looking at the number again, please.
Okay, 516-407-7286,
I
okay?
mean, what's the name? Like first, last name?
First,
company?
last name, and just say you were at the men's
No,
conference.
like for the address book.
Oh, we will send you our information. Once you text that, we'll send you everything, okay?
So I'll put
All right,
the-
thanks again so much, guys.
I promise just one more. This is really important as well. The reason why we're in this building every year over year, it's not because we're paying a hefty fine to get here, right? We have some amazing community partners that really believe in the mission that we're doing. So even access to this building on a Sunday is usually closed. So just want to bring up Josh Bordero from the Crypto team. There's bring up about Crypto, what to do in this building, and maybe there's some kind of
Thank you, Luis. I like Jordan's hat. I don't have a cool hat, but thank you guys for coming. We do this once a year with Dr. Nate, and it's been tremendous. It's been phenomenal. We love giving back to the community in any way possible. A little bit about us. We've been in business for about 40 years. We're a local lender, strategizing with you guys in 30 different states on how to buy, sell, refinance, and invest. Okay, so we work a lot with Jordan and his team. Kind of their counterpart, and we're always here to help you guys run numbers and to strategize so that you can start to build wealth. Okay, because it all starts with a conversation, starts with an idea, and then we bring it to life. All right, we got tons of programs, tons of options, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to come find me. Thank you.
I just personally want to say thank you to everyone for showing up and for being interested in the conversations and topics. I'd love to see some of my men here from the Men's Confidential Circle. If you want more of what we have today, we will be sending a follow-up thank you with all the contact information to the speakers and to the sponsors and collaborators. Men, we also have our Men's Confidential Circle every Monday night at the clinic, from 7 to 9. Ladies, we have the same on Thursdays from 7 to 9. It's women only on Thursdays, it's men only on Mondays. I am just really filled with gratitude. I've been with the company now in a couple weeks, I'll have a whole year. And pivoting from the fashion industry into healthcare, it's very different, right? So even making an event happen, I thought it was so much easier. But I also realized that it's not that it's easier, there's a lot of many parts. It's because I really care about the work that I do. And at the clinic, I always say I'm not a clinician, and the team pushes back because I do a lot of research and a lot of thought. So that will change with time. But I really am just so filled at the end of each day, just with the patients that come through and the work that we do. I know that the quality of care inside those rooms are top notch because I see them in the reviews, I see them people come back. So I always try to do my part as the business side and the non-clinician to really just show up for everyone. The way you guys showed up for us today. So I just want to say thank you, and please welcome Dr. Nate Saintis, founder of the city.
Actually, please don't go too far. My mic is on. Can you guys hear me? Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. I want you guys to understand what it takes to make this event happen today. This has been for some time in terms of inception, in terms of strategizing, in terms of sleepless nights, in terms of presentations, in terms of how the chairs are placed, in terms of logistics. This man has worked non-stop to make this a vision. He really went above and beyond. And on behalf of the whole We Drive Health team and our healthcare team, I thank you with whole heart for all the work that you do. Thank you so very much. Small token of our appreciation. Please give him another round of applause. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to thank Dr. Samara Toussaint, who's here just at the perfect time. She's our community partner as well. She did a great job with a breakaway room for our ladies during our intimate conversation earlier today. Thank you so very much. And I want to thank the NBNA team that was here early today to help us to get everything ready. Marie, thank you so very much for your help. I do not want to forget to shout out our phenomenal DJ Jimmy, on the ones and twos. Thank you so very much. I want to thank our chef again, and I want to thank Marlene for the desserts. I've been hearing non-stop how amazing and how phenomenal those desserts were. She may be giving me patience with the amount of diabetes, maybe, we'll see. But I heard and saw a lot of people with more than one cup in their hand, so please make sure you get it on the way to go. I want to close by saying this. When I had this vision many years ago, not many years ago, maybe 4 years ago, when we first started, I could not imagine what the level of impact would have been today. And I'm grateful for the community that I've built during this time, where everyone understands the purpose that we have on this earth. We are here to help each other, we're here to grow each other, we're here to empower each other, and my superpower will only be healthcare. But healthcare alone is not enough. We need our director. We need our mental health therapists. We need all of our wealth consultants and financial people in the back. Everyone here plays a role in making our patients and our healthcare community better. And I want to thank you on the bottom of my heart, on the bottom of We Drive Health's heart, and we cannot wait to see you for all future events. Please give yourselves a beautiful round of applause as we end the day. Thank you so very much, and have a great evening.